Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited for today's video. Obviously, as you can tell, the last video I'd done with BMW was with the M2 competition pretty much a year ago today. But obviously since COVID and everything, it sort of ruined everything. So I'm back, and what better place to start than with a completely unbiased review, because I've never driven an M3 or an M4 before. So this is all new to me. So it's just my first experiences. But the G82 BMW M4 Competition. Now with this car, BMW sort of changed it up a little bit. Rather than like nice big 21-inch rims, they've gone for staggered wheels this time. So we've got 19s on the front and 20s on the back. And already people are saying the wheels look a bit too small for the car. I don't think so. I actually think they suit the car really well. And considering that we live in the UK and the council are useless at repairing roads, I'd say it's very well suited. I'm not gonna lie, I've already hit a couple of potholes on the way out here. I can't help that. But I can tell you one thing: if they were lower profile, I don't think they would have. The tyres would have survived too well. So I think BMW's made the right choice with these. Typical BMW fashion, on the steering wheel you've got your two M buttons, your M1 and M2, where you can set up your own driver's profiles. On this one I've set up my own driver's profile on the M2 button. So engine is going to be in Sport Plus, steering is going to be in Sport, just to see if it gets too heavy. Last time in the M2 competition you had Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus. Sport Plus was a little bit too heavy, so Sport is where it's at. I'm assuming it's going to be the same sort of feeling on here. The steering is good enough in Comfort as it is, it's very direct. I'm just going to see if that sharpens it up a little bit. The gearbox changes could be a little bit different, as this time BMW have gone with a different gearbox completely. They've ditched the DCT 7-speed automatic, and this time they've gone for a ZF 8-speed automatic. Unfortunately, we're not getting a manual in the UK. I know it's like the driver's choice. If you're going to be a proper driver and a BMW enthusiast, you're going to go for a manual. I'm not really too phased about the manual. You can still have just as much fun in an automatic. So yeah, we'll see what that's like. But this time they've switched it up even more by giving us some driver options for the brakes. So all the way out here it's been in Comfort. There's a bee. So yeah, so as I was saying, all the way out here I've driven out in Comfort. And now this time we've got a Sport Plus or a Sport option for the brakes. So I'm going to check, we'll put that in on the driver's M button as well, so that's going to kick in on the way back. I want to see if it's just makes the pedal just really sharp, so as soon as you just go near the pedal it's just going to grip and bite up, or whether it's just going to, yeah, I don't know really, we'll see how that goes. So this car's pretty spec'd up pretty well. Obviously it's a press car, a demo car, it's going to be spec'd up pretty well. So the particular colour of it is called Tanzanite blue. Definitely one of the better colours of the car. I did like the Larry Sao Paulo yellow or whatever it was called when it first came out, because it was bold and it was a bit in your face, as an M car normally is. But I'd say I like the matured side have sort of come out a bit more, and yeah, I'm definitely swayed towards some of the darker colours of the car. Sort of blends in that front grille a little bit better, which makes it look better. So it's Tanzanite blue. With this car we've got a couple of spec options on it. So we've got the carbon pack and exterior styling pack. So we've got the carbon inlets on the front, vent surrounds. We've got a little spoiler on the back. We've got a lovely rear diffuser that goes around in quad exits. So, but the main thing, these lovely white leather bolstered carbon bucket seats. But this carbon pack comes at quite a price. It just comes in at just under £7 grand. I mean, that's quite a chunk. But if you're spending 76 grand on a car anyway, what's another 10% on top? And down the front we've got the spec laser light headlights, which again would be another standard. It's a lot of a cheaper option. It's only £1,500, so why not? I'd chuck that in there as well. But that's enough of the specs and the colour and everything. Let's go for a drive. lovely. Just over a smidge of 500 horsepower and a 480 foot-pounds of torque. Now, coupled up with this new ZF gearbox, it runs like a dream. There's no turbo lag at all. The power line is very linear. The gear changes are seamless, and it holds that power through the gear changes as well. So there's no jolts between gear changes that chuck you back in your seat, although the power itself holds you in your seat. So you don't get chucked around the cockpit as much or in your seat. But it's lovely. So I've just stopped to adjust the cameras, and obviously I've gone into the M2 setting that I've set up for myself, and straight away, wow, it's like everything sort of tightens up as you'd expect. Obviously it's BMW Sport Plus. But what I was saying about the brakes, I wouldn't say they give you like more stopping power as such, but the brake pedal itself is quite much firmer to press. So yeah, you don't have to press as hard to sort of get as much stopping power. Everything else, the steering, that's in Sport. No, sorry, tell a lie. I tried Sport Plus because on the M2 it was too heavy and I didn't like it. On this, it's made it a little bit firmer, so Sport Plus is actually pretty good. And then, yeah, suspension wise, actually, as dippy as this little country lane is, it's not too aggressive or stiff. So let's just enjoy this bit. Oh, such a nice noise. Now the exhaust have opened up. BMW have done a very good job as well of redesigning the exhaust to get rid of that typical straight six BMW rasp, and it's just like a nice, it's a lovely noise now. Again, that could be a little bit of fake noise being pumped into the cabin, but I'm not going to complain. You can turn it off, but I'm not going to. I'll leave it as is. But this car makes you feel so confident in what it wants to do. You can be fairly confident you're going to go into that corner and you are going to come out the other end the way you want to come out. Not sideways, not being tail happy. It doesn't feel tail happy. It feels very, very planted. Let's just go. Yeah, it's a lovely, smooth power delivery, nice and linear. I'm upshifting pretty early, obviously, with these lovely manual carbon fibre flappy paddles. Being in Sport Plus mode, it holds the gears a little bit longer, and you can change manually. You can turn it all off together completely. But yeah, I would have thought when I first got the news that I'd be driving this car, I thought that going from an M2 to an M4, size-wise, I'd feel a bit like hold your breath in when a car comes the other way on a country lane. But it actually feels a little bit better than the M2. I feel fairly confident that the car doesn't do that as you're driving down the country lane, and yeah, it's a good drive. It is a good drive. So I'm looking forward to see if I can get hold of an M3 to compare, because they do say, no, sorry, the M3 and the M4 are the same width, same drivetrain. Now obviously one's a saloon, one's a coupe, but yeah, that'd be very interesting. The brakes, what I was saying about the brakes being firmed up, now you can go one up from that, but that comes in the form of a nice £8 check as another option, because you can get carbon ceramic brakes, and again, that's a bit extreme. That's purely, in my opinion, if you're just going to be using it for track days. Yeah, the day will be coming to an end. Gearbox is so smooth. There's no jolt in the gear change. I mean, I know in the DCT on the M2, the gearbox changes were so quick that you couldn't really feel them, but there was a little bit of a little bit of kick back into your seat. This is so smooth. It's like that linear power curve just goes from gear to gear, and it just seamlessly goes from gear to gear. Oh, that is bloody lovely. That is lovely. obviously this being only just released, this is rear wheel drive, but in the near future, I think about 6 months time, they are going to release an X-Drive version, so that's going to change the 0 to 60 times a little bit. 0 to 60 time in this is quoted at 3.9 seconds, but I've seen people get it down to 3.6. I know Joe Achilles had one the other day and he had it 3.7, just over 3.7 seconds in cold damp conditions. But now I said earlier that I'd have the carbon seats as an option, and I would, 100% I would. The only downside to it is that the seats are quite hard to get in and out of unless you can sort of perfect that getting out the door movement. The bolster and the steering wheel gap is quite tight, so, and obviously being in a solid carbon bucket seat, the bolster doesn't flex, so you've got a solid ridge to get up and over, and I can see that wearing out quite quick. Although saying that, they are very nice because they've got these beautiful cutouts that are surrounded by carbon as well, and there's no grab handles in it, so if you're a passenger, that's where you're going to be holding on. As well as the other unique design is this centre bit between your legs. It's sort of like a little bulge, again dressed in carbon fibre. It looks beautiful. My only worry would that be getting scratched, so I'd probably get like a bit of PPF just to cover that bit up. But it looks lovely, lovely contrast between the white leather. Again, definitely spec the white leather. And that, guys, really much concludes sort of my first impressions of and my first M4 experience. I've enjoyed it so much, and this car is like so well built for what it is. I mean, obviously you'd expect it for the price that it is, but everything works as it says it works. It's not like BMW trying to hype themselves up and say like, yes, it does this, it does that, and then people drive it and they start, actually no, it's not that good. It is flawless. There is nothing wrong with this car that I can find. Obviously I've only got it for the day, so I'm sure people would find something over like the term of ownership they might say, oh, this, I mean, apart from the bolster issue down here on the seat, but that might only be a problem if you're going to spec the carbon seats. But other than that, 10 out of 10. And then hopefully maybe in the future I can drive an older M4 or a new M4 when it eventually comes out, and sort of can start to get on that process of reviewing things and comparing old generations to new generations. Right guys, so that's pretty much it. Let us know what you think down below, what you think of the car, especially the front grille. Now they've changed it very slightly just for the M4 competition design. I'm going to enjoy it the last hour I've got the car and start heading back to Cooper's. Again, a massive thank you to Simon and everyone at Cooper for letting me have the car for the day. Yeah, hopefully more reviews will be coming now things are slowly getting back to normal and we can enjoy it and I can make more content like this. But yeah, like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and I will see you on the next one very soon.